I want to commend the state for the efficiency with which the evidence was presented today. Keep it up.
I ain't gonna hold you. I was like, hey, Paige is petty as hell today. Have me feeling like this right here. So the last couple of officers, basically, one admitted she got divorced. That's why I don't get why people keep bringing up certain personal things and all that. It got awkward when a body or a bate basically said that crap. Basically, they proved somebody got shot. It was a couple of shootings, like I think it's a game and all that. Nobody talked to the police at think it's a game records and all that. Somebody got pulled over, but they didn't really say anything, so you have nothing with that. And that's the thing that basically the state has to prove is, well, who did it? Because you don't know. So y'all just bringing in stuff just to say it was a shooting at think it's a game records. It's supposed to, how it's supposed to be presented to people is, oh, hey, think it's a game records got shot because of the YSL YFM war, but you don't have anybody. So what are we supposed to infer that? Well, that's not what the jury's supposed to do. The jury's supposed to go off of evidence. Now, you had that happen, but in the beginning, we had the cell phone tower guy where it did get a little boring. I will imagine it got boring because, honestly, just like the rest of y'all, we were waiting for Cross. So here's the most important part before we get to Cross. Let's go.
Whoever asked to plot phone activity near defendant Williams' condo?
I was.
What was the time frame that you plotted phones in relation to that address?
So I looked at devices between 7:31 and 11:22 p.m. On the 10th.
Now, Agent Bernie, can you help unpack this rather busy slide for the jury?
Yeah, so this obviously has a lot of information on here. The biggest thing is just seeing which phones have activity all around the general area of the Williams condo, and that is a significant number of these phones.
And Agent Bernie, is in this time frame from 7:30 to 11:22, is there any devices that are at that location both close to 7:31 and also close to 11:22 in general?
Yeah, I mean, we see this, the red device associated with McMullen has 7:31 and 11:22. There's 6 activities that use this tower and specifically this sector during that time period. It also uses this tower in sector 1. There's another one down here that has 2 outgoing and 1 incoming call using this tower in sector there. Let me just quick look at some other ones. You have the 3904 number associated with Mr. Williams. It uses this tower and sector up here at 822 through 1057 for 5 different activities. It also uses this tower and sector here at 908 to 1042 for 2 activities. I believe that's it.
And Agent Bernie, were you ever asked to analyze any out-of-state movement in relation to this case?
I was.
I'm publishing slide 45. What did you analyze in relation to that?
I was just asked to take a look at, did any of these devices leave the Atlanta, Georgia area and travel to Miami on the next day, which was January 11th, 2015.
Publishing slide 46. Can you describe for the jury what this slide shows in relation to the device associated with Mr. McMullen?
Yeah, so again, you'll see the device that it's associated with in the top left-hand corner. This one's the 68 associated to Mr. McMullen. And then I looked at, hey, when did the device approximately leave the Atlanta area, and did it travel southbound? So this device, has activity in the Atlanta area on the 10th at approximately 11 p.m. And then I looked at, hey, when did it arrive approximately in the Miami area? So I reviewed activity until 2 p.m. the next day on the 11th. And what you see here is These dots are different towers used by the device as it made its trip from Atlanta to Miami. So the dots in this case are phone activities, either calls or text messages. This is a Verizon device, so these are just calls. And then I just put in some of the times of those to kind of get us a gauge at approximately how fast was the device moving and approximately when did it arrive, over into the Florida area. So this device, again, activity 11 p.m. up in Atlanta. At 4 a.m. we see it's near Macon, Georgia. 7 a.m. on the 11th, it's getting near the Florida-Georgia line, and then eventually it has some activity down in Miami at 1:25 p.m. And one thing you can't see on that slide is cut off on the bottom is, obviously I compared all the devices and their activity to see if it's some travel separately on different days or times, which one had similar travel patterns. And so the devices of McMullen, associated with McMullen, Williams, Dolly Greer, and Dora Greer all have very close activity along the same time periods in the areas I looked at, which are like Macon, Georgia, the Florida-Georgia line, and then arriving in Miami.
Agent Bernie, publishing slide 47. What does this slide show in regards to movement of the device associated with Defendant Williams?
Yeah, so again, had some activity at 1:28 a.m. in Atlanta, some activity just north of Macon at 4:38, and then activity in Miami at 1:43. So this device obviously didn't have as many calls or text messages as the other ones. Again, that's the only time we can see towers and sectors, is when there's phone activity.
Publishing slide 48. Can you describe for the jury the movement depicted, if any, on this slide from the phone associated with Dora Greer?
Yeah, so again, really only two activities during this time period. We have an 11:41 activity up in Atlanta, and then down here at 9:21 near Orlando.
Agent Bernie, publishing slide 49. Can you describe for the jury the movement depicted, if any, on this slide from the phone associated with Dolly Greer?
Yeah, so again, we see that phone number listed there. Had some activity at 3:28 a.m. A little bit further down is the next one at 6:04 a.m. And then eventually some activity in and around the Miami area at 1:43 p.m. on the 11th.
Publishing slide 50. Can you describe for the jury what movement, if any, you see for the device associated with Mr. Copeland?
Yeah, so again, here we have the Copeland device, the 5991. We see on the 11th, the first activity is at 7:56 p.m. This device and the next device associated with Mr. Zachary have very similar travel patterns, but these travel patterns are different than the slides we just previously looked at. By 7:56 p.m. on the 11th, the other devices were already in Miami. So this one departs Atlanta approximately 7:56 or so, has some activity there. Around 10 o'clock, it's just, there's Macon, has some activity south of Macon. And then the next activity we have is at 6:58 a.m. on the 12th, and that's down in Miami.
And in general, does the device associated with Mr. Copeland travel closely with any other devices you requested to analyze?
Yeah, you can see on the bottom of the slide here, those two, the Copeland and Zachary device, have more similar travel patterns than the others. So again, 7:56 p.m. on the 11th, device is still in Atlanta. Now we have 10 o'clock p.m. on the 11th, south of Macon along that, and then some activity, the first activity we see in Miami is at 6:58 a.m. on the 12th.
And Agent Bernie, is this, can you describe for the jury, is this what you were just discussing with the phone associated with Mr. Zachary?
It is. So again, activity at 7:37 a.m., and then we see it reaches the Florida-Georgia line around 11:45 p.m., has several other activities near Orlando, 2:30 a.m., and then into the first activity in Miami is at 7:19 a.m.
And Agent Bernie, in relation to the report you generated for the January 10th, 2015 murder of Donovan Thomas, is that in your generated report?
It does.
Here's what's interesting. When he showed that grid, and I will put cards on this if you're watching this on replay, there are two people missing, two phone numbers that were missing. Yak Gotti is not included on there, and Shannon Stillwell is not included on there. And ironically, they're the ones who have allegedly were deeply, intimately involved in the murder of Nutt. So interesting that that part is left out for the jury, and it's likely that it will come up on cross.
Unless I missed it, it didn't. So pending that I missed it. I didn't see it pop up, but it can still pop up. The cell phone tower guy is still going to be back, but still was cooking again today. And I ain't gonna hold you. Bruh. It looked like the person who might have did it got full immunity.
Did I interrupt you?
No, sir.
Were you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For Jeffrey Williams' phone, though, what other phone numbers, according to records, had any contact with the phone number records assigned to, had you assigned them, or the district attorney's Jeffrey Williams' phone?
Yeah, the two devices, again, one was the 2920 number. Again, that one was located in Miami. I don't recall any of the calls to or from that number. And then there was the 8553, the YSL Enterprises phone number, the one that's in Baton Rouge. During this time period, I can take a quick look. But I was not asked to analyze calls between those numbers other than what's in the report.
Okay. And the number that you said is in Miami, is that the 2920 number?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay. And is that number, do you know if it's been designated, if it's not just say, I don't know, or to a man named Brian Williams, also known as Birdman? Do you know that?
That does ring a bell now that you brought that up. Again, my analysis just shows Williams in the phone analysis on page 7.
Okay.
So I don't recall, but I think it may be associated with the Birdman Williams or whatever you had called it.
Okay.
So, because Williams and YSL Enterprises, they couldn't delineate between if Young Thug was in Miami or Young Thug was in Baton Rouge, which, I mean, everybody can agree that he was there, but imagine if they would have said that he was in Miami. Let's just keep on cooking still.
And a car that's already moving, can it go in approximately 2 minutes? And if this is just guesswork, just say, look, this is just too much. I have no idea. Could it go the distance from the crime scene to an area that would be depicted by the records of the tower that's in use here?
I mean, again, because I don't know the driving distance as opposed to the straight line distance, I think it's hard to say. Could it possibly? Maybe. I'm not sure. But I can't. I haven't driven it, and I don't know the distance, so I don't want to be able to say yes or no.
That's fair.
I don't know the road distance between the coverage area and the crime scene.
Thank you. Now, were you ever told or given records for a second or multiple cellular devices that are associated with Mr. Copeland?
I don't recall another device associated with Mr. Copeland.
You were just given records for one device.
I believe so. I mean, remember, I looked at this incident, the January 15th, or January 10th, which is the first incident. But I think I looked at 4 other incidents and lots of phone numbers. So during this time period.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I don't recall another phone number associated to Mr. Copeland.
All right.
So if you remember, Lil Woody had 2 cell phones. They only gave him records of 1. But don't go nowhere, because even then with that, still has another ace up his sleeves.
Jeffrey Williams, cell phone records. If you could look at that and just direct us to the page, I'm going to ask you the same question. How many times does Jeffrey Williams' records show that he is using a cell phone tower close to the McDonald's?
Yeah, I'm referencing the same Exhibit 532 Yankee. Just trying to. So in that exhibit, page 28 would be the time period covered by the device associated with Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, can we show page 28?
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
And again, there's no tower and sector activity that would show the device to be in the vicinity of the McDonald's.
If we can go back to Mr. Copeland's records, and if you can help us with the page. I think I know what it is, but just to make sure, I'd like you to tell us what page to go to.
For Mr. Copeland, device associated with him, the 5991, That's going to be page 12. Actually, page 11, I'm sorry.
Does Mr. Copeland's device, according to these records, and they vary, obviously. I mean, you're telling us that. It's not GPS coordinate, here I am, it's a range, fair to say?
Correct. We know the tower and sector where the device is. So again, a general area of where the device is.
And it could be, I guess, miles away. Is that, and if I'm saying something wrong, just please correct me.
It could be depending upon the towers in the area. Obviously, more towers, the closer the phones are to those towers. The towers that are farther apart, the more range those towers could be away from each other. On page 11, you asked about the McDonald's. This is the slide where the McDonald's is not on there, but there is a call at 7:51, which is in the vicinity of the McDonald's.
And I'm going to ask a different question while it's page 11 of that same exhibit is before the jurors. Do you see where the crime scene is?
I do.
Does Mr. Copeland's cell phone ever contact a cell phone tower that, in your expert opinion, could encompass that crime scene?
Yes, this 7:28 and 45 seconds, this one here. Again, we see this device was a Sprint device. We see the towers that are listed here around the crime scene. So this device here, which is used at 7:28 p.m., you can see that here. That coverage could potentially cover the crime scene and the other location, the green store that's in there, because those locations are close together.
And then Mr. Copeland continues, I believe, on the next page, am I correct? Page 12, and if I'm wrong?
Correct. It does continue on page 12.
If you can go there. Is there any time on page 12 that, it's going to be the same question, Mr. Copeland's device is at or around the crime scene? Well, using a tower associated with and encompassing that crime scene.
Yeah, we have this call here at 9:52 p.m. You can see the towers right underneath this box for the crime scene. So again, that's in the vicinity of the crime scene. Put the device in this general area at 9:52 p.m.
Do you have any records that you were asked to work on and prepare for your testimony by the District Attorney's Office of Fulton County? Do you have any records that show between, let's say, 7:20 and 8:30 that Mr. Copeland's handset that are associated with the records that you targeted go towards and encompasses Jeffrey Williams' condominium?
Between what time periods again?
It could be 6 in the evening on January 10th, 2015, and we'll say 10 in the evening, January 15th, 2000. January 10th, 2015.
Yeah, during that period, we do not. There is a slide in here that covers phones in the vicinity of Williams' condo. That extends from 7:31 p.m. to 11:22 p.m. And where did that slide go?
And just announce what page it is when you
44.
Thank you, sir.
Must have gotten my pages out of order here. I don't see it.
The funniest part about all of this crap is that the state really must have underestimated the defense so bad that they couldn't have even imagined that, hey, they're paying more attention than we are. And this is probably, more than likely, the reason why Paul Howard could not go with this, because he would have had to convince and have a whole lot of people on his side to say, give me millions of dollars to try to invoke RICO's, which isn't even my thing, which is Fonnie Willis's thing. So people had to remember, Fonnie Willis came through on good waves. She fought for the children. Everybody can agree fighting for the children, I think, unless you don't like kids. And I know some people may fear the kids with silver teeth. I was one of those who feared kids with silver teeth. And then I realized you could spray holy water on them and then they turn back to normal kids. So once you guys learn that, then you'll be safe. But other than that, bruh, yeah, Fonnie Willis came in with good graces. Had the Hill Rich Pablo RICO, and then all of these other RICOs. You had RICOs on other gangs that wasn't just this one. So y'all got to remember, there are other gangs in Atlanta that are being smacked with RICOs and are actually doing things to help the streets. But in this moment, not this one, you don't get them all. You get some. So with that being said, bro, I'm going to keep it authentic with you. Brian Steele basically showed, that got nothing to do with nothing. Nothing to do with nothing. Remember, Thug was supposed to have met up with the people at the McDonald's. Oh, no, it wasn't the McDonald's. Oh, no, he met up with him at the gas station. Oh, shit, he didn't meet him with the gas station. And then y'all didn't add things. Y'all purposefully left shit out. See, it would be a thing if I said, this is the mastermind, and he sat back with a Suge Knight cigar and said, job well done. Let's go to Miami and party. That didn't happen. If anything, they basically knew that Thug spot was the kicking spot, knew Thug was going to Miami, and that was that. And it just so happens to look like there is so much doubt on the individuals that y'all said absolutely did it. All in all, bro, like I keep saying, I don't think Donovan Thomas gonna find any justice. I hate to say it that way, but the state, the county of Fulton, they failed his family. Fonnie Willis, you used that man's mama for propaganda. Just flat out lies. Now, she was not screwing nut. I know exactly the person she was screwing. I actually have pictures, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I don't want to involve myself with politics unless I'm getting paid. No, I'm playing. But no, I do know who she screwed and stuff like that and everything. I got to kind of keep it to the vest a little bit. So when we get up on this appeal for somebody who's facing a life sentence, I can go ahead and whip out my Yu-Gi-Oh card, my trap card, hit him with the blue eyes white dragon. But either way that goes, yeah, no, all of this shit is propaganda. All of this is BS. This is made to, in my opinion, based off what I've seen. So let me tell y'all again, because I got a little email and I'd like to fire back. I'm not going to show the email because I'm not into that. But this is my opinion. Once Brish did all that BS and we start seeing Thug and Gunna start bailing these men out for Father's Day and Easter Sunday and Thanksgiving and all this shit and everything like that, it was only a matter of time. Because here's the biggest thing that a damn mob boss, gang leader, all of this shit wouldn't do. He wouldn't wear a wire against his own crew. That's what DK said he would do. He wouldn't tell the people that are being told that killed Donovan Thomas to go turn themselves in and clear it up. Because that's exactly what he did with Monk Tunk and Lil Woody. That's exactly what he did. So there's that. At the end of the day, the cell phone tower stuff, we just got told in our world of explanations that, and y'all can quote me on this, we were told before, that it's pinpoint accuracy. No, it's not. It's in the vicinity. There are no cell phone towers that exist this day and age that will pinpoint you exactly where you are. Remember, we was told in the YNW Melly trial that, hey, bruh, they was able to tell what side of the car YNW Melly was sitting on. Remember that crap? And just like the good people that we are, and we take the state for their word, we believed it. That cell phone tower shit proved nothing because if you don't know, Atlanta isn't some big ass city. And if you freak with the same spots, you freak with the same spots. Now we know. Cell phone towers, hey, bro. Nothing special. Just a pole here with some connectors here and some damn antennas up here. And that's all we get. It's not as pinpoint as we thought. And I thought it was a thorough breakdown of everything. And for the judge to kind of put that in there and stuff like that, I ain't gonna lie. She probably was kind of glad that Miss Love on her little vacation right now. Because I ain't gonna hold you. Miss Love ass, who knows what she would have did. But I will say this. I'm going to give still an A+, but I wish still would double back on the point again in just a different way. When he basically alluded that, hey, Kenneth Copeland's phone was around the area during this time of the crime, correct? Right. How close could we have gotten to the actual area of the crime? If he would have said that, oh my God, that would have been insane. Now, do we ultimately really believe Lil Woody killed Donovan Thomas? No. But one thing we can do is rule out other individuals. So, shit, why not? Y'all gave him immunity, so throw his ass under the bus. Run him over again. Run forward. Run him over again. F it, because y'all doing stupid shit over there as far as I'm concerned. On the prosecution. Today was supposed to be massive. Now, we got to wait on Vivarito. and if Viverito isn't astonishing and mind-blowing and all of this stuff, what another damn letdown. We got about like 110 or 100 witnesses left as far as the state is concerned. So, hey, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Subscribe to me, I'll be able to stay notified.